Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is The Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life, win with your money, win in your work, and win in your relationships. Excited to have you aboard. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me today, and we are here for you. So George is our resident money expert. I'll chime in with an opinion or two, if he allows.
I will allow.
Will you? All right. And I'm the work expert. So think income. All right? I'm the guy to help you make more income, and George is the guy to help you spend it and budget it properly.
Oh, I like that. That's a good
combo.
combo.
See that? So you're feeling stuck. You feel like you need the promotion, can't get the promotion.
And
Anything
a lot of
related
people
to
are
that.
like, should I move for this job? Should I take the pay cut? Should I take the raise? Is it worth it? Those are all conundrums that you can help with.
That's right. So happy to take any of those calls. Let's get to it. Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City, George, is what it's famously known for.
Makes sense.
I'll explain that to you on the commercial break. But Colin is up. Colin, how can we help?
Hey, man. So in a bit of a situation. I'm 21 years old, 3 kids, 5, 2, and 34 days.
Ooh.
Started young, right?
Yeah.
I own a rental property, a duplex, here in town, and own the home that I'm living in. So 2 different mortgages, 2 different car payments. Trying to figure out what best suits me. I'm finding myself payment poor, which is probably 90% of the phone calls you guys receive. And I'm trying to see if it's smart for me to keep saving for one thing but falling behind on the other.
What are you saving for?
Or should I? Well, I'm just, like I said, I just went through a career switch. So I was in the car business for the past 4 years, making $130,000 a year. Now I am a nurse, making about $80,000 a year.
Whoa.
And it's what I went to school for. It's more consistent money, but definitely less now. There will be more in the future, but less now. And for these next couple of years, it's going to be the income that can't afford what I have. So I'm trying to figure out, does it make sense for me to give, does it make sense for me to take a minor hit on my credit and give car payments back to receive more money in my pocket so I can keep the lifestyle for me and my wife? Or does it make sense for me to sell everything so I can get more ahead of the game, or just
Okay, I'll tell you what,
really need
Colin,
to know what I should do.
George is going to tell you what to do, but can I guide you so we can get to it faster?
Yeah.
All right,
100%.
let's go through your debts, all right? So we've got 2 homes, right? And so give us the not the primary home, not the mortgage, but just give us the rental property. What do you owe on that?
About $96,800.
All right, $96,800, and then now list the rest of your debts out for us.
You said besides the home that I live in?
That's right.
You said you had 2 car loans.
Okay.
What are those?
So 2 car loans, that's about $45,000 and $48,000.
Okay, and what are those cars worth? Are you upside down on those, or you got some equity?
Upside down on them hard. Upside down on them hard.
How much? On the 48, give me that one first.
$8,000.
Okay.
So you have $90,000 plus worth of car loans, and you make $80,000.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
How?
Because when I accumulated those car loans, I was making $130,000.
That's right.
Not that that's an income.
That still hurts my brain.
Right? Correct. It hurts my brain.
How much are you upside down?
I'm young and dumb.
That's okay. How much are you upside down on the $45,000 car?
Probably closer to 12.
So it's only worth like 33?
Correct.
All right.
And what about the 48 one?
He's $8,000 upside down on
that one's worth about 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give George the rest of your debts. We got to see your whole picture here. Then he'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you guys said besides the mortgage I live in, but that mortgage is about $250,000.
What's it worth?
It's a manufactured home, so probably
less than that.
Way less than that.
Okay, what else? Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving on the other debts.
What's the rental worth, by the way?
Student loan. Say that again.
What's the rental worth?
The rental is worth about $130,000.
Okay.
We're definitely going to sell that one, aren't we, George?
Yeah, you'd clear $30,000 worth of debt just by selling that. It is not a blessing
Correct.
in your life.
I'm in the process of selling it now.
Okay.
So, or at least talking to investment planner or, property owners. Other debt is about $8,000 in student loans.
Okay. Is that it?
And about $18,000 in credit card debt.
Okay. Here's the deal. I would sell this rental. You'll clear hopefully about $30,000.
Yep.
That's the $20,000 you're upside down in on the cars, plus another $10,000 to get you a different vehicle.
Right.
So that's going to clear the car debt. What are your total car payments?
Probably about $2,800 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to free up $2,800 that you can now use to tackle the other debt. So you'll tackle the smallest debt first. So if you have a bunch of credit cards, I'm guessing those are split amongst a few.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So whatever the smallest balance is, you're going to free up the $2,800. All the margin you can muster up from your normal income. Is your wife working outside the home?
No.
Okay. I imagine she's got her hands full with a 1-month-old, a 2, and a 5-year-old.
Correct.
When you go home, can she do something part-time and you take over?
No. I work nights. Or I work afternoons, so 3 to 11. So when I'm home, it's, I guess she could, but my problem is, this is another conundrum I found myself in. Because my income is reported for the past 2 years in the sense of what, daycares and all that stuff take, because I made so much then but make so little now or less now, I still don't qualify for any help.
Can you pick up more hours doing nursing?
Yeah, I'm mandated 3 nights a week already.
Okay. If you can do even more of that, we got to get this income up. But if you at least do what we say, sell the rental, you'll clear the amount you're upside down on the cars. That will allow you to sell them. Then you're going to take the $10,000 and get you a beater car to get around in for now. Now, with that freed up $2,800, you attack the rest of your $26,000 in debt, student loans and credit cards.
And at that amount, what are we talking about, George? How many months are we looking at there? He's got 26, so...
Well, making 80 and freeing up $2,800, that should help you get out of debt in a year.
That's right. Do you see that path? Yeah, in 1 year. If you take the money
if you do exactly
that you
what we just laid
freed
out
up in those car payments, you can get out of this in a year.
Okay.
Do you have any savings?
Yeah, but it's very little, probably about $4,800.
That's something. So if you're following the baby steps, which we're going to send you Financial Peace University to walk you through this, baby step 1 is $1,000. Anything beyond that needs to go toward your consumer debt. So that's $3,800. You would attack. You would knock out a few credit cards just like that, which frees up a payment. Do you see how the snowball starts rolling?
I put him on hold because we're running into a break.
Yeah, we did what we could. So that's the plan. Hang on the line. We'll send you a copy of my book, Breaking Free from Broke. It'll walk you through this. It'll make you never want to touch debt again.
Yeah.
And Financial Peace University, that's going to give you the proven plan to get out of debt, to build wealth. Man, you got 3 babies. You got a wife. You got to start taking life seriously. And that means getting out of debt as fast as possible.
Yeah. Colin, George laid it out as plain as it could be. There is no margin for you to come up with your own version of that plan. That's the plan that will get you out of debt in a year and allow you to start to begin to build wealth, take care of all those kiddos. Try to find some sleep somewhere in there. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel is with me this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. We'll get back to the phone shortly. But first, George, I'd like to, you and I were talking on Friday. We were on the show. And during the breaks, we were talking about how we just peruse the old real estate listings just for fun.
It's one of my only hobbies.
Yeah. By the way, this is not an endorsement. It's just I like the usability of it. I use Realtor.com.
I'm a fan as well.
Yeah. It's a nice interface.
Well, and
again, this is no endorsement.
Sure.
But it is listings by realtors. And so I find it to be fun. But the app, it's kind of fun to see what's going on. And I'll be honest with you, I'm always kind of looking at my neighbor to go, okay,
what's going on in the hood?
I want to know what's happening.
A lot of people do that, by the way. It's their hobby as well.
Well, sure, you want to see where you stand. How's the old equity situation?
Some of it's doom scrolling.
How's the market?
Going what if, a little bit of dreaming. And some people are going, should I sell my house?
Yeah. All right, Mr. Money Guy, what's your take on the current real estate market?
I think it's not going to change drastically anytime soon.
So what does that mean?
I think rates will slowly come down, but as they come down, home values will pipe up.
So you're telling me people ought to be they should be in the game, not on the sideline. Is that what you're telling me?
If you're financially ready to buy, do it. Don't worry about the rates. And if you're thinking about selling, it's not going to be like, well, if I wait 6 months, what? Just go ahead and sell if you're ready to sell.
All right, there you go. From the expert himself, from the old horse's mouth right there, folks. And so we've got a great program for you. Our Ramsey Trusted program is the only way to find an agent that you can actually trust, keep you on track with your goals. They understand the way we teach buying and selling real estate. And so we want to make sure that you know that there are top agents in your area that we trust. And you can find these Ramsey Trusted agents with years of experience by going to RamseySolutions.com/agent. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. All right, to Atlanta, Georgia we go next. And C is on the line. C, how can we help?
Hi, Ken and George. How are y'all?
We're having a blast. What's going on?
All right. I am in baby step number 2, and in an effort to increase my income and just do something that I see myself doing long term, I'm thinking about going to get a master's degree, but I don't know if I should do it now or later after I pay off all my debt.
Okay, give me a quick snapshot of your debt.
I have $22,000 in student loans.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay, what'd you get your undergrad in?
Sociology.
Okay, and what masters are you looking at pursuing?
It's something different, so it wouldn't take the standard 2 years. It would be 3 years. It's speech language pathology.
So 3-year program to have a master's in speech pathology.
Yes.
Okay, and what's the income range if you were to have that master's degree in speech pathology?
According to Google, about 81,000 before tax.
Is that starting, or is that kind of at the top range?
Yes, it says less than a year of experience, and that's like the 25%.
And what's that look like as it goes up? What do you think the ceiling is on that income?
I did not research that, but that's like the low end, and that's like very beginner. So
okay, good. All right. And do you see yourself potentially owning your own firm? I'm not sure what you'd call it, or agency?
Practice?
Practice, thank you. That's the word.
Maybe, but I haven't thought that far yet.
All right, good. Well, I guess that's why you called me. I'm going to walk you through all these things. Okay, so how much is the master's program going to cost? Hello, C.
We stumped C on that question.
Did we lose her?
All right, we'll see.
Hello, C.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Now we can. You just went you just disappeared for a moment. We're glad to get you back.
Sorry.
All right, how much is the 3-year program that you're looking into? Or have you looked into multiple, and what is the range of cost?
Well, it'll be about $25,000 at the school that I've looked at.
$25,000 total.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not including books and things like
Sure.
that, just tuition.
Okay, and do you have that set aside in cash?
I don't have that in cash right now.
That's right, because you're trying to pay off the $22,000 in
How much do you have in
loans.
savings right now?
Just my $1,000 for baby step 1.
She's working the baby steps, George.
Okay, good.
All right. So, are you single income, double income? Is it just you? And what are you making right now?
Yes, I'm single, no children. I'm making $31,000 as a teacher.
Okay. All right. So here's
I'm working part-time.
So here's where we are. So you're part-time, only making $31,000. So regardless of my answer on the master's degree, can we agree that you need to be full-time doing something, making more than $31,000?
I said that I'm working full-time and part-time, making
Oh, I misunderstood.
So.
Oh my gosh.
What are you making as a teacher? They're only
Oh.
paying like $20,000?
No. My guess is, are you full-time sociologist?
Well, no, I'm a teacher. So I work at a small Christian school, so yeah, my income is not like the average
All right.
teacher.
Can you go work at a different school and make, 35, 40, 45?
Well,
50?
I did get a raise this upcoming year. I just gave you my numbers for what I'm making right now. So
Well, but this is
next
all
year
informing
I'll
my
be
decision.
making
'Cause here's the challenge, see.
Yeah.
There are times where I give people the advice of cash flowing a master's degree, okay, while they're doing the baby steps. And in your situation, you've only got the student loans, $22,000, but you've got to get your income up before I would ever say to try to do both, okay?
Okay.
The challenge is you got a 3-year program. Okay. And that's a good chunk of time. And you're going to have to be working, I'm guessing, full time during that process, correct?
Right.
Okay. So to me, there's no wrong answer, but I would be more comfortable saying yes, cash flow your way through this if you were making more money. If you're working 2 jobs, I'd like to see that number be around 60, 65. Not 2 jobs at 31. And I understand you were giving us your current numbers, but going forward, you're going to have to play this out. And George, I'm going to throw it to you because this is a budgeting issue. If the income gets up higher to the tune of, listen to me, my qualifications on me saying, yes, you should go get this graduate degree. I like that it's a path to a lot more money. And in this case, I want to be clear with the audience. And I'll let you answer the question. A master's degree is the only way to be a speech pathologist, true or false?
True.
Okay, so I want the audience to know that I've got a 2-part framework that I always run by people, and then they ask about a furthering education degree. Is it the only way, or is it the best way? And if the answer is yes, then I say pursue it, but we still got to be smart with our money. In this case, I'm bringing you in here, George. C needs to have this, so there's no question that the master's degree is eventually required. I would be more comfortable if she doubled her salary, but I'm going to leave an asterisk there. If she could double her salary and get more, let's say she gets in the 60, 65 range, from a budget standpoint, I want you to walk her through what she'd have to be able to figure out to pull the trigger on this.
Yeah, well, when you think about even paying off your $22,000 in student loans, let's say you could do $1,000 a month toward your loans, right? That's 22 months. That's almost
It's
2
actually
years.
32.
32?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. So at $1,000 a month, if you were able to throw that, it would take you almost 3 years to pay off the debt. Then you still need to get your emergency fund, save up and cash flow to college, then do 3 years. So you're talking about like a 7-year plan. Do you agree that kind of sucks? Don't you want to get there faster?
I do.
So now the question is, what if we could do $2,000 a month? Well, that changes the equation. $2,500 a month. When you create that kind of margin, it's going to get you out of debt faster, allow you to cash flow this faster, and get you through school.
Yeah.
So that's the goal you need to be thinking through is how can I create more margin? The only way to do that is by spending less and making more.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm going to heavily index it toward the making more side.
Yeah. So, based on how George walked you through those numbers, I want you to press pause on the master's degree. Let's get the income up, get some more headway on that debt, and get to a point where you can budget and you can live and you can cash flow your way through while continuing to pay off baby step 2. Other than that, then I'd say you're going to have to press pause and get out of debt first before we even think about the master's degree. This is The Ramsey Show. The Ramsey Show continues. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel is with me, and we are here for you this hour, taking your money questions, your professional and work questions related to your income. How do you make more income? Is it a side hustle? Is it a pivot? Or why are you not getting promoted? I'll take any of those questions. We want to help you get some more money in. By the way, that helps us get through the baby steps faster. And George here to be the primary here on your money questions. 888-825-5225, 225. Tallahassee, Florida is where we go next. And Ryan is joining us there. Ryan, how can we help?
Yes, sir. And Ken, George, great to hear from you. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's happening today?
Yes, sir. So my wife and I, we're in baby step 2. We've been going at it gazelle intense, like you guys say, for about the last year and a half. And we're doing really good with it. My big question and my main question is, how do you keep the intensity on your debt payoff, like, as far as making sure that you keep going at it and you don't lose any steam on it and you don't get disgruntled? Because we have like our 2 loans that we have left, the big ones, and that's all we have left. We've paid off all the small fiddly doink stuff like credit cards and Affirm and stuff like that.
So how much debt do you have total left?
Left over, I have about $40,000.
Okay.
And we started with about, I want to say it was $89,000. We
Nice.
actually, my wife, before we started, we had bought her a brand new Honda Accord, and then I found you guys on YouTube, and I was like, we got to get rid of the car.
So, Ryan, here's my question. You called us, and I love this question. How do we keep the intensity up, or how do we stay the course? I'm just curious, where are the temptations or where are the frustrations? Give us what you guys are actually dealing with in this journey right now.
So we're just, we're working so much. I'm a commercial truck driver locally. I work anywhere between 65 to 75 hours a week.
Yeah.
And my wife works about probably 55 to 60 hours a week, and that's just on our regular jobs. And then I'll do like Uber Eats and stuff on the side.
So you're exhausted. You're just exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. So George, this is an interesting question. This is kind of fun to tackle. I may have a different position than George, but I think that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Totally agree. Like I said, that's why I was asking, how do you just make sure that you keep that intensity and the fire does not die out in your
Well, I'm going to tell you
what you're doing.
I'm going to tell you, because I think there's a difference between when Dave for decades has said, be gazelle intense. There's a difference between that. I think, I could be wrong. I don't mind if George disagrees with me here, and maybe some of our audience. I think there's a difference between that and literally the physical sprint the entire time. And I think there might be times, and I ran a half marathon. I only did it once. I'll never do it again. By the way, I was one and done, George. You know this, famously.
Your first and last half
But
marathon.
here's one thing I learned and I took away from my half marathon. You have to pace yourself. And that means you can't always keep the same pace. As I mapped out the course with a good friend of mine, you share the friend, he's intense. And we mapped out, all right, so this part of the course is a little bit more hilly, so you're not going to be able to naturally keep your pace up there. It's just physically harder, so let's drop our pace back here, but then we pick up our pace coming down the hill. And so I think the journey at this moment is similar to that, George. And I don't mind if you disagree with me, but I'm going to lead off. This may be controversial, but I think I would back off. If you're working, did you say you were working about 75 hours a week right now, roughly? Or is it 80?
No, on my full-time job.
No, I mean everything. I took into account everything you're doing.
Okay. Yeah, everything's probably about 80 to 85 hours a week.
Yeah, you've paid off so much money. You're on the downhill of this deal. You've paid off 80.
You got less than half to go.
I would pull back, and I'm just making this up, but I would pull back to maybe 60 hours, see what 50 looks like for 2 weeks. That's obviously commensurate to you're not bringing in as much money. But again, you guys have learned how to budget. I'd like to see some gazelle intensity on keeping rice and beans and all that kind of stuff, but maybe give yourself a little bit of a physical break. Right. Maybe budget in a steak dinner instead of rice and beans every night. I think you got to pace yourself. George, you disagree with that advice?
Not necessarily. I think the way I would pace it is just breaking it down into smaller goals. It's not necessarily we want to have less income, but I think there's ways to not make it a giant slog, which right now you've got the big dogs. So you've got the mountain staring you. You've knocked out the little ones. You got those wins, and now you're like, oh, crap. These
You
big
can't
ones,
keep doing 80 hours a
it's
week,
going to
though,
take forever.
George.
No, 80 hours, that's a lot. Like with the Uber Eats, are you guys just not making enough with your full-time jobs? What's the current household income with the side jobs?
Current household income with the side jobs, the net is like just shy of $11,000 a month.
Amazing. And how much of that are you able to throw at the debt?
We throw about $2,757 at the debt every month, and that's according to the budget. So that's
Okay.
going hard in the
My
main
question is, why do you guys have $8,000 in expenses?
Well, I have my my truck loan, which is that's the biggest one we have left. I owe $26,000 on that.
Okay.
And then we have a $13,800 personal loan that we had took out after we sold the car to buy my wife her little hoopty truck that she has now.
Okay. It still
And
seems like you have a lot of expenses. So if we can figure out a way to spend less, because what we're talking about is making more, the other option to get margin is to spend less. So I'm wondering if there's lifestyle choices we can make. We're shopping at a different grocery store, less stops at the, no pun intended, at the gas station. You know, are there other things we can do on that arena to bring our expenses down to $6,000 so you're not having to work as much, but you also don't lose progress? That's where I'm trying to get to.
Okay. I know my big thing is we own a home, and our mortgage is $3,564 a month.
Goodness gracious. That's a lot of mortgage.
Yes, sir.
That explains
How big is
why
the
things
house?
are so tight.
Oh, what was that, Ken?
How big is the house? How many square feet are you got on that?
Just shy of 2,300 square feet,
Man.
and it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath.
Okay. Well, I think this mortgage is that's another thing to look at down the road, because that may not be a sustainable mortgage for you guys.
That's a big mortgage on a house that small.
Because once you go back to your normal full-time jobs, what's going to be your take-home pay?
It would be like $9,400 a month.
Okay. So this mortgage is taking up a big old chunk of that. We're talking, upwards of 40% of your take-home pay going toward the mortgage.
Yeah, you guys on the water?
No, we're not. I live in Florida.
Yeah.
And when we had originally bought the house, right before, ironically, we bought the house right before we discovered you guys. And I told my wife, I was like, if we had only found the Ramsey show maybe like a couple of months before.
Well, usually you make a bad decision, then you find the show. So you guys did it in the right order.
Yeah.
That's
how
how
much
it
is
goes.
the house worth?
The house is worth $400,000.
What'd you pay for it?
$400,000.
With very little
so
down, I imagine?
Yeah, we actually we had the down payment assistance plan when we bought the home.
Okay.
So they put in like it's all included in the mortgage, I guess, but it's
what's the truck
like
worth?
A second lien. My truck is worth $18,000.
Okay. I'm just wondering if push came to shove and you were just done going this hard, you could sell the truck. You need to cover the amount you're underwater on, plus enough to get you something different.
But that's his main income.
But I don't think. Well, the truck is not the one you're driving for work, right? That's your personal vehicle.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd sell the house. I really would. I think it's time for them to get out of this deal and rent, George.
That's a lot of house. I would consider that. You probably can get out of debt first. It's going to take you another year. I'd keep up the intensity and look at your lifestyle choices. But if you can't sustain it, you got to slow down a little bit. Don't burn out. But
if you can't keep up those hours, at least take a week off and then get back at it. But my goodness, that's. I think there's other fixes. I think I'd try to get out of that house. I wouldn't normally say that, George, but I think that would be a big, big fix.
That's a lot of house. You got to go from disgruntled to gruntled. That's what I've learned in life, Ken.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to quote that. George Kamel, folks. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. This hour, the phone number is 888-825-5225. You got a question about your money? Come on. You got a question about not making enough money. You want to make more. I'm here to help on that. George is going to coach you up on your budget, how to keep it. So let's get to it. Is it Joan? I think we're going to go with Joan or Joanne. What do you think?
I'm going to go Joanne.
You're going to go Joanne? I'll go with Joanne. Let's see. Toronto, Ontario. Is it Joan or Joanne?
It's Joanne.
Joanne. All right. Way to go, George. Way to help me out.
I win a prize.
Yes.
Thank you.
How can we help?
Okay, so we have a 15-year-old son who we have been Dave Ramsey followers for years. So he has done the 60-30-10 principle. Now he is working 50, 60 hours a week. And we are starting to see an unhealthy money habit where everything is about money and saving.
Be more specific. What's showing up in his actions and his comments that's got you concerned about a 15-year-old working 50 to 60 hours a week? I'm having a hard time being concerned yet, but I want to hear more.
Okay. Well, and maybe this is where we don't need to be concerned. But he is an avid soccer fan, and he would rather work than go to his soccer game.
You mean playing in his
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And what's his job?
Yes.
What kind of work is he doing?
He's now into landscaping.
Mm-hmm. And what's he making per hour?
$19 an hour.
Uh-huh. And what kind of goals does this kid have with this money? Have you heard him talk about some of his goals?
Oh, yes.
What's he got?
He wants to buy a house.
Uh-huh. And why does he want to buy a house?
He wants to buy a house when he's 20.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, in Canada, in our area, you don't get much of a house for $400,000.
Right. And what is he saying about his future besides buying a house? Is he saying anything about a professional future, things that he may want to do one day?
He does, he's leaning towards running his own landscaping company.
Okay, there's your answer.
But when it comes to college, it is off the table. He doesn't even want to think about it because he can make money instead.
Fantastic.
Well, he's making $4,500 a month at 15 years old. What does he need college for?
I couldn't be happier, Joanne. You have nothing to be concerned about at all. You have a 15-year-old who has discovered the value of working his butt off and stacking cash, and he's thinking 5 years ahead on a house. He's thinking probably 7 to 10 years ahead on owning his own landscaping company, and he's going, I'm never going to play in the MLS, and I'm probably not going to make the Canadian World Cup team. So maybe I'll just skip my soccer game and take care of my future. I wouldn't be concerned if I were you, Joanne. I'd be throwing a party.
Okay. That's good.
George, am I wrong?
Here's my take. Now, the only concern is that he has skipped childhood and went straight into adulthood. We want him to grow into an adult who is excited about work. I like that.
Skip childhood. That's a dramatic.
Well, I just don't want him to look back one day and go, what did I do this for? I just worked my whole life. My concern, Ken, and here's where I've seen this play out. There's not a why behind it.
He's got a why.
Well, he wants a house.
No, he wants to run his own landscaping company one day.
Yes.
He likes landscaping work. Yes,
why a house
Joanne?
at 20?
Who cares about that? That's just a 15-year-old. That'll work itself out. She's wondering, is he working too much? Is he too concerned about money? And I don't think he is.
Does he have to be in school?
We homeschool.
Okay.
And he's doing his high schooling instead of 4 years. He's doing it in 3.
And he's getting it all done. He's doing his work. Yeah. He's studying.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great.
This kid's a machine.
He can work and make money.
But a lot of people get it.
He hates the homeschooling, but he's so bound and bent he can make money.
But he's very disciplined.
Instead of sitting behind a desk.
Yes. But that's what schooling does to a lot of entrepreneurs. In fact, I could tell this story over and over and over and over and over against about all the great entrepreneurs. They hate being behind a desk. They hate the process. They're about doing. And my guess is he really enjoys the outdoors. Is this something he's always been, a bit of an outdoorsy, handy kind of guy?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Again, listen, I wrote a book called Find the Work You're Wired to Do, George. This kid is wired.
He figured it out very early.
Yes. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I can barely stand it. By the way, this is rare.
Very.
But to say this kid's not had any fun, he's had a fun childhood, yes?
Yeah. Well, and trauma, lots of trauma. But
okay, tell us about that. Whatever you're comfortable with. We don't need to know the details, but what kind of trauma?
He lost his brother when he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really tough on him.
Well, that'll make you grow up quick.
That's exactly what I was
so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a year later, his dad and me split.
Okay. So would you say it's possible that this is a big distraction for him, and it also is a potential win for him? He sees a big life win. He sees something that he can control. He couldn't control losing his brother. He couldn't control you all divorcing, but he can control how much money he makes.
I think so, and potentially it makes him focused on something other than his pain.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. That's why I said it's a distraction and something that he can control.
It can be both.
I think getting him therapy on a consistent basis and encouraging him to do that is okay. I understand your concern. I was having some fun. I am in no way minimizing the trauma that he's had, but this is actually, he's not some weird situation. He's rare, but he's not weird.
Okay.
George?
I keep thinking about my friend Graham Steffen, who's a big financial YouTuber.
Sure.
He had a very similar experience to your son, Joanne, where he was in school going, wait, I can go make money doing this aquarium photography stuff. Why am I sitting here in school making $0? So there's a bent to him that he's going to be very wealth-minded, and that's okay. I'm just in the boat of, I think a little bit of balance is good. As long as he has some hobbies, I don't know that I don't want to be working 60 hours a week, let alone a 15-year-old. So that was my only thing was I love where he's headed. His mindset's right. His discipline is there. I just want him doing it for the right reasons and have some real depth to it instead of just going, I got to build wealth. Yeah. I got to have $1 million by 21 or else. And as I dig into it with people, there's no why behind it. I just want him to have that deeper why.
And I appreciate that. But Joanne, I would just be aware. I think George makes a very good point there. I just keep your eye on it, but really encourage him and really just speak positive life over him, that he's working so hard, that he's putting money away, and just remind him, hey, have a little bit of fun with some of that money. You know,
and force him to give some too.
Yeah.
You said you're doing the 60-30-10. I assume that's saving, spending, giving.
Yeah, but he, as long as we've done that, which is all he ever actually remembers, he's never spent 30%.
I think we get him
to spent way less
to enjoy some of it more. Because the only concern is that he has a flat tire where he goes, I'm great at saving and investing. I have a harder time giving and having that open hand. I have a harder time enjoying the fruits of my labor. So I think we can work on those things with him, but I don't think this is a crisis.
No.
Okay.
Just make sure he doesn't get too unhealthy, and that's the only issue. And the unhealthy would be that he's just working, not enjoying, not giving. So be that positive focus. Hey, I think you should go do this, or I think you should have some friends over and do. Community I think is huge at 15. Yeah. Here's the interesting thing: it may be very hard to find other 15-year-olds who get him.
He'll be hiring his buddies to work for his business at this point.
Right. So they come over to play poker or something. And he goes, hey, let's get outside and knock some boxwoods out here. Let's plant these suckers, But I think you got a great young man who's been through a lot. And I think he's been forced to probably mature a little bit too early on certain things. And so lean in, Mom, and love him. Don't be concerned, because he'll pick up on that. And I just don't think you need to be concerned right now.
On the spectrum of 60 hours a week doing video games or working, I'd rather him be toward the work side. So that's better.
I love that. Good stuff. All right, good hour, George Kamel.
Good stuff.
Praying for your voice. We'll get you medicated. More honey during the break. Thanks to Kelly Daniel keeping us on the air and the fearless crew. This is The Ramsey Show.
Kimberly is going to start off this hour in Seattle. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Sure. How can Jade and I help?
Okay, so my question is, I have a 20-year-old daughter. This past year, before I was following your teachings, I assisted her with a down payment of 3% to purchase a home for stability reasons in Kansas. And the payment is about 40% of her take-home pay. She does have a roommate, so, the amounts are substantially lower. But I'm wondering what my financial obligation is to her moving forward, since I did, quite honestly, pressure her into purchasing this house. I'm just wondering what is my obligation?
Why did you do that? I need to understand why you put her in such a precarious situation. She's at 40% with the requirement of a roommate, and you said you did it for stability purposes. Help me understand.
Well, without making it a long, drawn-out conversation, she did not have the best upbringing, so she has chosen to make some of the same mistakes that I made, and she gets herself into situations where she is living with a boyfriend and dependent upon them, and then when the situation goes south, she ends up having to find a new place to live.
And is the house in your name or in her name?
No, the house it's in her name completely. And so she is her roommate, based on Dave's teaching, he is a roommate, is her boyfriend.
So on some of the other life decisions, have you shared with her, hey, I did this thing and I was wrong and I shouldn't have, I goofed up, and I wish you, for your sake, I wish you wouldn't do it. Have you shared that kind of stuff with her about those life decisions?
Absolutely.
Then this is another one.
I've
then
been
this
in
is another
recovery
one.
for 10 years.
Yeah, then
yes,
this is another. Kimberly, then this is another one.
Okay.
Your only obligation is to apologize. I did this out of a good heart. I was trying to get you into a stable housing situation so you didn't make some of these other relational mistakes. So I did it with good motivation. But since you did that, I have learned some things that I didn't know at the time that's made me realize that it's put you in a different kind of instability. And I'm sorry for that. And I'll coach you, I'll walk with you. And if you don't see your income come up pretty dramatically in the next couple of years to where that percentage comes down, then you probably ought to sell it. That's what I would tell her if she was my kid.
Okay.
But you don't have any financial obligation.
Okay.
Just tell her, if you can't get your income up, I may have helped you make a mistake. I'm sorry for that. You may need to undo the mistake by selling the house if you can't get your income up. That's what I would tell her if she was mine.
Okay.
But you're signing on, and I've got to help her pay payments because I feel guilty because I screwed up. No. She's a grown woman. She's 20 years old. She has the legal right to purchase a house. She had the legal right to tell you to take a flying flop, and she didn't. Okay? She has these legal rights, and so she's an adult. She gets to make the call. And granted, you had undue influence probably. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. But that does not make you financially, legally, morally, ethically obligated. But I would go to her and say, hey, I've learned some stuff like I did about other things I talked to you about, and this is the money part, and, here's what we're doing. What does she do for a living?
She works at a bank.
Doing what?
I am not exactly sure what her title is.
Do you have any idea what her career track looks like? Is she going to see some pretty good income increases? Is she in a training program where income's going to go way up later?
I hope so, and I'm not counting.
You have no clue.
What's your relationship like with your daughter? Are you guys on a speaking regular basis? Do you get the feeling that she trusts you and that she values your input, or are things frayed?
No, we're very close, and she definitely trusts my input.
Yeah. I would just say, listen, unless you see your income coming up, I may have led you into an unstable situation when I was trying to help you stabilize. I goofed. So I just want to put you on a warning that this might not be nirvana that you signed up for. And you know, if you don't get your income up, you may want to look at selling this within a year or two. You know, it's not the end of the world short term. She can make it. And with a roommate, she can certainly make it. But, you know, she went from being dependent on a boyfriend to now she's dependent on a roommate. So we're always, you know, because we're overstrapped, and that's what we're doing. So you got a good heart, Kimberly. You're a good mom. You were trying. You're doing your best. We're all trying to figure this thing out as we go. And then for the rest of you out there, to Jade's point, sometimes what the culture, whatever people are saying, whatever they said and I heard are saying about money, they're all broke. So whatever they're saying, don't do it. And in a sense, that's what Kimberly did. She said, everybody says her life will be better if she gets a house. Everybody says no matter what you spend, if you get a 4-year degree, even if it's in left-handed puppetry or German polka history, even if you get a useless freaking degree and you go $200,000 in debt, it's all going to be okay because education's important. Everybody says everybody is stupid. So
everybody is broke.
Yeah, whatever the culture is telling you, normal sucks. You do not want to be normal. Do not be conformed to this world. And that's, in a sense, Kimberly was trying to do the right thing. And no, not in a sense. She was trying to do the right thing, but the pattern or the template she was using was that of a broke culture that says owning a home is always good for you. And owning a home is not good for you when you're broke. That's why they call them brokers. You get broker and broker.